Hello everyone, I'm Alex and I'm one of the science kids. What is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the phrase artificial intelligence? Do you think about Terminator? Do you think about the world ending and going to flames? Well, it turns out artificial intelligence, or we'll call it AI for the rest of the video, is extremely useful and can actually do a lot of great for us in the future. But before we discuss any of that, let's ask the crucial question. What is artificial intelligence? Well, you could say a machine or program has achieved artificial intelligence when it's able to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence or thought. Well, these tasks can vary. It can be as simple as being able to tell apart a cat or a dog from pictures, or being able to read handwriting. It could also be as complicated as predicting cancer or modeling transportation systems. Now, most people think that artificial intelligence is a technology of the future, but technically speaking, that's not true. Take a look at virtual assistants like Siri or Cortana. You can ask it a question and it will return data from the internet to you. That's a form of weak artificial intelligence, or artificial narrow intelligence. It's a form of artificial intelligence that's basically only able to do one task. Now, technically that task normally would require human intelligence and thought, but it's still only one task that is able to learn. It's not able to do things outside of that. Artificial general intelligence is AI that is able to think and ask its own questions. That's something that we haven't achieved yet. That is a technology of the future. Okay, well, we might not have achieved that yet, but we've actually achieved a lot of really cool versions of weak AI, and in this video, we'll be talking about how those work. Now, one of the ways you can achieve AI is through a process called machine learning. Machine learning is when an algorithm adapts itself to learn new things. And one of the machine learning algorithms that's most commonly used is a neural network, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. Now, in some cases of neural networks, you don't need to give it data to learn, but in most cases of neural networks, you need to give it pieces of data so it can learn from that data. And these types of neural networks, which are most commonly used, are called supervised neural networks in which you give it data to learn from. So in the case of the cats and dogs, let's say you have a bunch of pictures of cats and dogs, and you feed it into this program for it to learn from. What happens? In order to understand neural networks, let's take the task that we discussed in the beginning of the video, telling apart cats and dogs. Supervised neural networks are composed of three different layers: the input layer, the hidden layer or hidden layers, and the output layer. Now, the concept behind neural networks, as the name tells, was derived from the human brain and how the human brain works. So think of it like this. The input layer is the sensory stimulus that you get from your environment. The hidden layers are the processing. You don't always know what's going on in your brain to figure out what's going on around the world, but you know that it does. And the output layer is how you react to the environment. Each layer is composed of a certain number of nodes, and these nodes are just values because all programs are calculations. Okay, let's take this photo of a dog right here. What does the neural network see when it sees this image of a dog? Well, it just sees pixels. Each of these pixels has specific values for grayscale and for color, and these values will be used as the nodes in the input layer. Once the picture has become just a bunch of values, then the neural network can use that to learn. The first hidden layer tries to determine the relationship between each of the input nodes. So what it does is each one assigns a completely random weight to each of the input nodes. These weights basically tell the program how important each of these values are. In the beginning, they're completely random because, well, the neural network doesn't know anything about the images. But as you give it more data, it uses a process called backpropagation. Now think of backpropagation like riding a bike. When you're riding a bike, you fall many times over and over. But each time that you fall, you figure out your balance a little more. Sometimes you even may fall harder next time. But at the end, you'll have figured out how to ride a bike perfectly. You'll have figured out how to balance on the sidewalk. Backpropagation is the same. Once the images of the cats and dogs go through this hidden layer and into the output layer, where the program determines if it's a cat or a dog, the program will keep learning and the weights will keep changing to determine how the values are different depending on whether it's a cat or a dog. The program is correcting itself, just like every time you corrected yourself when you fell down on a bicycle. This concept has changed the world as we know it, because not even in the far future, within the next 5 to 10 years, this process could help us cure so many diseases. For example, pancreatic cancer is very hard to tell early for doctors. In fact, it almost shows no symptoms until it reaches the final stage. But with neural networks, if you give the program data that normally we wouldn't be able to tell anything from, the neural network will be able to tell you whether or not this patient has a risk for pancreatic cancer way before the disease has even started. This could save so many lives. So next time you hear the phrase artificial intelligence, don't immediately jump to thinking that the world is gonna end. Think about all of the awesome opportunities and the amazing things that could come with this technology, and think about what you could do with it. In fact, in the next video, we will make a basic neural network to see how it works in real time. So we hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for our next videos. Don't forget to check out our social media pages and our website in the description below. And as always, science is everywhere and in everything. Bye!